Hello, everyone. Thank you for being here. We are very excited to have you here and to hear Bob. Again, he'll be giving us his talks, which is going to help us a lot for building resilience in our everyday lives. I just wanted to take a minute to talk about women in big data. We are more than 41 chapters globally, all over the world, and we are connecting everyone and ensuring we are able to bring opportunities starting from the students to the different areas of the people. And our mission is to ensure that more and more women are able to get into the big data space and ensure diversity as well in that. We are helping women all across the different segments, starting from the student to all throughout the careers, from the early to the mid as well as the later career, through the different events we offer. And you can find us on LinkedIn, be a part of the group, be supportive. And, if you can help us out, we can have partners. We would be really appreciating that. And if you can join us, be a part of us, that would be awesome. And looking forward to seeing you volunteer and partner as well as sponsor at any point of time as per your need. And over to Bob here, who will be giving us all the wonderful tips to face the stress in today's COVID world. Over to you, Bob.
Okay, thanks, Shrabasti. Can you stop? Okay, great. Here we are. So I hope everyone can see my slide. If you don't see the title slide, maybe you could raise your digital hand or wave your human hand. There we go. So great to be with you again, my favorite meetup group. So I'm combining some ideas from previous webinars that follow a kind of direction I've been headed, especially in the last year, especially around COVID. Just to give you a little background, some of you may have seen this before, but I started out in customer sales, product training, sometimes technical, sometimes more customer oriented. Many years at Apple. I moved over to Compaq, actually, which had been Tandem and then became HP. And there I landed in software product manager, being resilient during some turbulent times. I moved on to be at sort of in between jobs for a while with the help of Career Transition Services. I was at the solar company Solyndra in the East Bay some years ago. I've helped out at ProMatch. My last full-time corporate job was at Symantec. And now I have my own practice and I work for Torchiana, a small boutique career transition firm. So the red arrows show you all the times that I have been workforce reduced. That was not my choice, but I had to bounce back from it. And the explosions are tragedies in my personal life that I needed to kind of react to, recover from, and ultimately thrive in. So I just wanted to let you know that I've made some changes and pivots dealing with what we're all facing, all the things that disrupt what should have been. This wasn't planned. So I am going to put a poll up right now to find out what you think. So here's one poll and I'm going to launch it. It's anonymous. So not only can I not see you, but I won't know even how you're voting. So the question is, which of these, okay, that's interesting. Okay, so which of these choices below matches your one of these should match your personal definition of resilience. And what I'd like to do here is get a sense of where we're all coming from. So it looks like we're up to 5 people voting, 6, 7. Oh, we're cranking up to 8. This is good. Yeah. So it's all over the board here. There is no absolute correct answer, but of course, number one is not the preferred answer. So I'm going to show you the results, and
I see a message from Grace that she can see only the first 4 options.
yes, there are only 4 options to that. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, you might have to scroll to see the next
Right.
one. Yeah, okay. And I thought this was the second one, so we're just, being very resilient and flexible here. So you can see the percentages, and we have lots of different ideas about what resilience is. So I'm going to stop sharing that, and so here's another one. I'm going to launch this one. This has more, and you can choose as many as you feel apply to you. So which of the following tend to lower your spirits? Being let go from my last position, looking for a new job, dealing with COVID, managing family, being a devoted parent, taking care of a loved one in need, thinking about my career progress, and even managing my overall health. So yeah, I would love to see what the group thinks. We've got 6 people, 8 people voting 10. We're up to 10. We've hit 12. This is like an auction, 13, 14. We're just cranking up here. This is wonderful. So we don't know who's voting for what, but you can see there's some commonality here. And it's good to know. We human beings do like to know we're not the only one dealing with certain things. So I'm going to show you the results. There we go. And we actually got up to 17. That's great. So thank you so much for participating. There are lots of reasons that we are under stress. And, I think we'd all probably say women potentially have more stress because often get more family responsibility on top of work responsibility. So I'm glad you're here. This is what we're going to talk about today. Oops, now I'm going to try to get rid of this. Sometimes I have this problem with Zoom where I cannot get rid of the poll. Let me just see. Relaunch poll, share results. Oh, I can't find it. Okay. This happens on a small screen more than anything else. Shrabasti, if you see the poll and you have control, could you send it away so I don't have it on my screen?
I did. Does it still show up at your end?
Yeah, it shows up on mine for some reason. Oh, okay, so we're going to move ahead, and there's the poll. So here's a couple of definitions. Can you still see my screen? Oh, poll. Maybe I can get rid of it up at the top. Polls. Okay. Capacity to recover quickly from difficulties, a sense of toughness, or elasticity is a dictionary definition. The ability of a substance or object to spring back. Okay. I'm going to unfortunately share. Let's see. I don't know why Zoom does that, but I can't see my own slides very well, unfortunately. Okay, so I need this now very much. So I like to do this exercise in the beginning as a little warm up and practice. So you're welcome to join along with me since I can't see too many of you. Don't worry then, if you close your eyes, you'll be fine. Being calm inside also can help you be strong on the outside. So this is one that I've done before with women in big data. It's a favorite called havening, like a safe haven. So if you can see me, at least you'll see my top half, cross your arms over your shoulders, the opposite shoulder from arm, fingertips on your shoulder, and then breathing at a kind of slow pace, slide your fingertips down to your elbows till you get to your elbows, and then slide back up your arms to your shoulder tops. And just continue going at a slow pace. and breathing, at a slow pace also. And make sure when you exhale that you exhale as much as you can, and try to do the inhale and the exhale through your nose only. And just do it at your own pace. And you may find that just doing this for a number of seconds will bring your body to a more relaxed condition. It actually is helping your blood circulate more. It's balancing the car. I'm sorry for the noise in the background. I'm in a city and there's a race going on downtown right now. Okay, so come back, open your eyes. And this is something that you can do yourself privately. You can do it with a friend. You could do it with a child. You could do it with a parent. And it's a pretty calming activity. So I just wanted to pass that one on to you because it only takes a minute or so and it will change your body-mind connection, your physical state. So here's some of the outcomes that I was hoping for tonight: to recognize the power of mindfulness in resilience, learn 5 to 7 ways to be more resilient, practice some resilience daily. So if some of the tips that I give you, you can do daily, it will definitely help. And anyone who's not on mute, it would be great if you went onto mute because I hear a little noise in the background. And I'd like you to be able to connect your current situation to what we'll be learning about today. So just for a second, I'm going to stop sharing and then I'm going to come back because I have to get rid of that. Okay, it was my own personal issue, but now I've fixed it. Okay, so here are some tips, things to do for your resilience. So let's see, it might be Shanda, I think you might have your sound on if you could, or it might be Catherine. That would be great if you could just go on mute. It could be Sheila also, just so you know. So this comes from me working for about 3 years with a group of directors and senior directors, what they learned in their transition between jobs. And some of them, it was over a year that they were looking. Take it one day at a time. Keep doing your exercise, walks, especially in nature. Volunteer to help other people, especially with your specialty. Keep your faith or spirituality. Inspiring books, go to good sources. I'm going to give you a handout at the end. I'll put it in the chat. And it has the main notes from this meeting plus suggestions of books that would be helpful. So keep building your human network. It's so important when you're feeling more stress and pressure to talk with people. If you're in between jobs, take the opportunity to create more success stories, examples of how you can prove that you're really good at what you do because of the measurable results you got. Notice negative thoughts. This is something we're generally not paying attention to, and reframe them. So in the Agile world, we see things as feedback, not failure. And we're always improving and continuing, learning more, getting better, working better as a team. Lower some of your expectations. Maybe they're too high, and stay focused on your main goal. Continue learning. That's another powerful way to keep your spirits up. Of course, healthy meals and good hydration, primarily with water. And don't forget to celebrate mini successes. Good leaders know to help their team celebrate successes regularly. It keeps everybody's productivity higher, knowing appreciation and recognition. And I'm a big fan. In fact, I did a session a couple of months ago for the group on positive intelligence or mental strength. That's a really good book that'll be listed also in the handout. But keep in mind, it's the process and the structure that you give yourself that matters the most. We can't control all outcomes. We can only control our reaction to things. So keep in mind to keep the faith. And yeah, okay, so let's see. Someone has raised their, Tina, you have a question? We can take it.
Yeah, so I don't think many of us are celebrities in social media getting trolled with negative comments. But there is something that I have found particularly, I don't know if it goes into negative thoughts, anger, stress, what have you, anxiety, is that on LinkedIn, people see our titles and they are some sort of marketing firm, ad tech firm, something where they've pinpointed that we are important to them. And they lead with a fake message, applauding us, doing this. A few times I fell for it. And then I realized I was just being trolled as another prospect for a sales opportunity. And it's so disappointing because I get 10 or more of them in a week, or sometimes 20 or more in a week, telling me how wonderful I am, what a potential partnership. Oh, and by the way, when you start engaging them, they just want you for a sales lead.
Yeah, and that's how human beings can be. Don't you agree?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's about lowering some expectations, I think. Now, you know that there's a very good chance you're going to get not useful information, but everybody loves being told we're great and they want us, you know, that part's good. Yeah. Sorry you have to go through that, Tina. It can be very frustrating.
Well, it's a wind up to a wind down, and it falls in with, you know, when you're job hunting or you're trying to go for a promotion, you get excited about a potential, you get the strokes at work, everything's pointing to the right direction, or same when you're job interviewing outside, and suddenly you feel like you've been gaslighted, that it was all a big joke. And
well,
it is,
it's the process, not the outcome, Tina. So you're still doing the right stuff. Keep going, keep your channels wide open, your network building, but don't get caught up on something like that. No point in having that inhibit your flow. And speaking of flow, we're going to cover our own thoughts, stress and self-care, and a plan for practicing. So someone has their sound on who needs to mute. Maybe Shrabasti, do you know how to do that? Look through and see who needs to be muted. Okay. So basically, we think too much a lot of the time. That's especially those of us in intellectual jobs. Okay, we got to stop the background chatter. So let's see who among us is speaking so much. Could be Rocky.
I muted Bob. You carry on.
Okay, thank you. So we hear negative voices in our own head. We have judgments about ourselves all the time. The more you pay attention to it, the more you can catch it. We were raised with it. It's so important for us early on to make quick judgments. And now we're in the extreme. And so we have to catch judgments that we're giving on ourselves, on other people, and on situations. Remember that the thoughts in our head are not actually facts. They're just thoughts. And it's our choice what we think a lot of the time. So for instance, if I say what I feel, I'll be hurtful to someone. So someone holds back because of that. It feels they cannot express themselves more confidently without hurting someone. Or I have to watch my every step. This is a negative belief that someone has. You have to be really careful all the time. I'm not good enough for this. Many of us recognize this one, especially when we're going for a new job or a promotion. I must do it all and perfectly. So perfectionism gets in our way quite a bit in our world. Many of us are troubled by needing to have all the pieces in the right place. I need to control all aspects to succeed. So sometimes we've had a manager who seems very micromanaging, and that's because they feel in their heart, if they control it all, it'll have a good outcome. They kind of learn that along the way and believe it's true, and they don't realize that they're stifling people. So they need to be reminded of that so they can let go of it. And sometimes we think our happiness is really not that important. So those are all troubling voices that can spin around in our head. So we needed those early influences and those messages to survive. Like, I have to be careful because everybody in this family, I'm not sure what's going on here, and I got to watch what I say. So many of us can relate to things like that. We are perfectly imperfect. That's a really good expression to remember. If you feel you have to be perfect, then you're going to be a chip coming out of the Intel factory. But most of us human beings, we get good, really good, but we don't have to be perfect. That's an abstraction. And reframing in a realistic way changes things. So it helps us look at situations in a different way. For instance, I am not going to do well. Many people will say that before they act, or they might make a judgment. She is pure evil. So that's one way you could say it, or I will learn and improve from this. What a different attitude, right? And she is doing the best she can. Isn't that a radically different way of discerning in the situation rather than judging someone that their character is flawed, saying, wow, she's doing the best she can, I guess. She seems to be really talented. If it wasn't for him, my life would be so much better. That was my worst interview ever. Or I contributed to this to some degree. I wonder what part I had to play. And instead of worst interview, that was a challenge. What did I learn from that? So this kind of reframing gives us energy and motivation rather than beating ourselves up. My plan was all wrong, and I can think my way out of this dilemma. Or you could say some aspects of my plan were right. I need to change a few others, and I need to talk with them. So keeping it in our own head and our thoughts is not as powerful as relating and communicating with other people. So I'm hoping that you see the statements on the left do not have to be true. In fact, that's an impression or a judgment. So let's, any questions about that before we go into a short breakout? I just want to check. You can raise your digital hand or unmute yourself and speak up. I covered a lot in that little section there. Wow, we had a lot of people join. This is great. You see anything in the chat, Sravasti? Okay. All right, good. So, so we have 22 people. And I'll have to watch this and pull out the people that are here mostly to observe and make sure things don't go wrong rather than to participate per se fully. So I think I'll make 10 breakout rooms so that it's just 2 people, and you'll have 5 to 6 minutes to just exchange your own ideas. What has come up for you about your own negative beliefs? Not just the thought, but maybe you have a belief. I'm just not going to be good enough for this. And you're holding on to that. Now you might realize, how could you change or improve by stop doing something or start doing something? Or what's working? What would you continue? And I will try to put that text in the chat room so you can see it while you're thinking about it, so you don't forget what it is to talk about. But mostly you're going to talk about exchanging what kind of negative thoughts and beliefs might be running through your head, and how can you change that? That's essentially it. So hang in there a moment. I find the breakout rooms. Oh boy. Okay. Okay, so I'll try to move people around if so that everyone's with one partner. Okay. Okay, go. Okay, so we're going to see. It's going to take me a minute.
I think Lichandra and Rakhi are left, right?
You're still in the main room, right, with me?
Yeah, I am.
And some people have not moved in. So Samsung, where are you? Okay.
Oh,
Did you come out of the room?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I'm going to move you to room 10 so you have a partner, Grace. Okay. And let's see. Who's Tina? Tina's by herself, so I think she's, oh, 8. Okay.
Yeah, I came out because no one joined me.
Can you go back? Okay. This Tina, I'm going to move you to room 8. See if you can get there.
Hey, I was in breakout room 1.
Yeah, that's Catherine, right?
Yeah, I was in there and nobody ever came.
Yeah, that's my problem, and I apologize.
Okay.
So I'm going to, you're here, right?
Yeah, I'm here.
Catherine? Okay,
Yes.
so good. Let me get rid of this. Okay. Yeah, so Catherine,
Yes.
let me ask you, have you discovered any negative thoughts or
Yes,
beliefs
yes.
that have been floating around?
Yes, I have. Thank you for asking. I think my biggest, and I was kind of surprised to see your physical appearance this evening, because my negative thought is feeling that I'm too old.
Uh-huh.
So it's just kind of always there because everybody else is young. So,
Well, you got the right person because you're younger than me. So I have your problem now. Everybody else is younger.
now, how old are you, Bob?
Oh, you wouldn't believe it. I am way over the hill, Catherine. In
Okay,
fact,
I am 69.
Yeah, I got you beat.
You do?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, anyway.
In fact, Catherine, I wish I was your age.
Oh, that's pretty funny. Okay,
So anyway,
that's my bugaboo. And
there is ageism. There is, yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, there's ageism. I'm glad you acknowledge that. And I found it really refreshing to see that you were there, because I was thinking, well, he's doing something. He looks like he's having fun. I had my own career and my own consulting business, and I was always busy and always blah, blah, blah. Anyway, and then now, you know, I'm 69 I don't try to work. I don't need the money. And my husband wants me to be available to travel. So, I mean, it's really not a bad life, but I still think there's a lot of energy inside me that wants to do something. So if I stopped saying that I'm old, I could start saying I have the freedom, the knowledge, and the experience and the time to do whatever the hell I want.
Yeah, you
So
do.
but I don't know what I'm going to continue doing, but breathing, I guess.
Well, that certainly is going to help quite a bit. You want to keep breathing as long as you can, Catherine. So here's the thing, you know a lot that a lot of people could benefit from, and maybe, you know, it'll be more volunteer work. Maybe you could join the board of a charitable nonprofit that you're interested in. There are lots of options. And age is really relative. You know, I've noticed the older I get, the more other people look younger. So when it used to be, oh my God, someone who's 50 is way over the hill. Now, hey, 50 is the new 40. You know, it's also relative because it's a game in our mind. And that's where the key to happiness is how you view what's going on in you. And to tell you the truth, I think appreciation, gratitude is the key to happiness in a lot of this. I mean, the way you described your situation now, I've had a number of clients recently who are, you know, right around time to retire, and they are getting fired up about things they have always wanted to do. And some of it is, you know, related to their work. They can now help other people and be more excited about, you know, the people they help.
Well, I definitely agree that gratitude and appreciation are key to happiness, and you know, setting one's expectations. Expectations are directly linked to satisfaction. That's a
Yeah, good. And there's a wonderful book you might want to read called, and it's listed in the handout, The Second Mountain by
I
David.
saw that. I love David Brooks.
Oh,
And I didn't
good.
know about that book. In fact, I already wrote it down because I thought, oh, David Brooks, he's one of my favorite authors.
Isn't he great? Yeah,
I
and
mean,
on
and
PBS.
Yeah, he's on PBS, and I like his New York Times articles as well.
Yeah, you know, remember those moderate conservative Republicans who actually negotiate and get along with people? He's one of those, you know, very ethical guy, very thought
I do think
oriented.
he dropped his wife when she was sick and married another woman. But other than that, yes.
Well, I come from a troubled gender, you know, Catherine.
Yes.
I know, but it's not. I mean, I find that a horrible idea, but it happens. You know, it happens. So we have other people in with us now, people who never got a group or never really wanted to be in that group. Samson, anything that came up for you about what's getting in the way?
I think for me, it's the fact that I'm still looking for a job and I haven't been at a job. Well, let's see, probably negative thought, maybe not get a job offer.
Yeah, right. Because that thought is a little bit prescriptive, you know, I'm not going to get a job offer. So that's a problem, right? I will get a job offer. I'm not sure when, but it's one that I really want to take. It's coming. I can't control exactly when it gets here, but it's coming. Priyanka, are you actually with us in audio? I know that your lovely photo is there. Maybe, maybe not. Okay. All right. I am going to be busy here, close all the rooms, and they're going to close in just a few seconds. Shrabasti, has anything come up for you around a negative thought that might be getting in the way?
Yeah, I think it's human, right? It's natural. Something comes always in mind. So,
What
I
is it?
think, yeah, I think, being human, everybody has thoughts, right? Similarly, I think, job stability is a big thing which troubles everyone.
Yes, there is no job stability. So you can let that one go. It's mostly your network. That's stability. The people you know that you can help and who will help you. That it's just any of us who have a job in a company for 3 years from now on, it's like super seniority. Tina has that because she's like a superstar, but most of us, we're struggling. Okay, we're
Yeah.
gonna close out pretty soon. We'll come back. Interesting. Let's see if everyone is back now. Okay, everyone is back now, including Yushi, who's really quite cute, as a dog can be.
Wait, actually.
Yeah. Yushi, yeah, beautiful dog, beautiful. Okay, thank you for that. So anyone have any observations briefly about what this process is helping you with?
Just reframing, that's what it's helping me. Reminds me to
Yes.
reframe.
Yeah. Most of us have everything we need. It's interesting because we don't need that much. We need food, water, shelter. We're very fortunate. And if we just look at with gratitude at what we have, there's just an abundance of possibility when you decide I'm looking for possibility. Okay, so stress and self-care. A question, has stress ever helped you? If you ever had a situation where being stressed helped you, let me know. You can unmute and tell us. I'm eager to know. And that might be around good stress. So anyone have a suggestion about good stress?
Well, this is Catherine again, but maybe because I've experienced a lot of life. Yes, stress helped me. I had enough money to pay my December rent, but I didn't have money to pay my January rent. And I interviewed for a job at an industrial company that asked me basically how a car engine ran. It was called Garrett Air Research. They make engines for airplanes. And I was desperate for a job. And so, I was like, well, I put the key in and I turn it and I step on the gas. And he goes, no, but what happens inside with the motor? What goes on there? And I said, well, I don't know. And he said, well, and I said, why are you asking me this? He says, well, I'm trying to see if you have an aptitude for engines because, you're interviewing to work here. And I realized that I wasn't going to get the job. So I was very stressed. And I don't know if I believe in a God, but at that moment, I think I did, because all of a sudden I got this idea that came because of the stress. And that idea was, I said, hey, look, I can see you're a little hesitant to hire somebody that doesn't know how to engine work, but you need this work done. I can do it. Don't hire me. Just hire me as a consultant. And so I ended up making more money as a consultant because I got paid for all the benefits. I was young, I wasn't getting sick, so I was fine. So it did help me in that case.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great story, Catherine, because I tell a lot of my clients, the more that you get into the things you need to know to get your next job, there's a whole structure and system to it. The more you get in the zone, like the Golden State Warriors, when they're in the zone, their communication is magical. Like, how do they do that? That's what happened to you. That was your unconscious mind coming out and giving you an inspiration because you were ready for it. It's a fantastic story. Thank you, Catherine. And that is good stress. And how do you know when you are stressed? Where do you feel it? I've mentioned this in some webinars before, but in this case, it might be a headache, right? But stress can be in your back, in your chest, in your neck, could be fidgeting with your fingers or your toes, your arms, your legs, could be in your stomach. You could be undereating or overeating. It could be hunched in your shoulders. So let's see.
Just thought I would mention, Bob. Tina Tang mentioned that she's self-employed, and she finds that stress helps me focus on the most important things and allows me to let go of. And she feels the stress in the shoulders first.
Good. Thank you, Tina. And Tina brings up a book that isn't in the handout, but is an interesting book called The One Thing by Gary Keller of Keller Williams Real Estate. So Tina knows what's the most important thing to keep my business going. You know, this is a skill that we all need to develop, because too often we try to do everything and we don't focus on the thing that gets us noticed and visible. So thinking about and working on the one thing that makes the most difference really helps. And she knows when she's on that stressful one because she feels it in her shoulders, which could tell her to do that breathing or the havening exercise to let it go, because you just need the stress to point out that this is important. You don't need the stress to keep on. And here's the way to get over stress, okay? So you notice it in your shoulders. Then you try to catch that thought. What was the thought that caused me to tell my body to do this thing with my shoulders? And how can you calm your body? Well, the exercises that we talked about and breathing that Catherine mentioned, and change the thought. So sometimes you have to calm your body before you can change your thought. So just keep that in mind. When you start to feel this stuff coming on, you know, like a little bit of a headache, or your knee starts to hurt more, your stomach, that's a signal. Your unconscious mind is telling you, not so good, calm it down. So return to your body is what I'm suggesting. So breathing in and out, this is a deep breathing. If you count to 8 on the inhale, hold it for 4 and count to 8 on the exhale. That's a very big opening of your chest. And I've been reading lately about how important exhaling is, and to exhale completely, because we are mostly shallow breathers in modern life, and that is not good for our body. Then here's another one. I'm holding up my right hand, my thumb, and a couple of fingers, and I'm just rubbing them. And just pay attention to the sensation of moving your fingers. That's another way to stop your thoughts and go to your body sensation. You can also, while you're sitting there in a meeting, start counting your toes, like moving each toe. Havening, I showed you, and of course, being out in nature and exercising are wonderful ways. And here's something that's kind of a heartwarming exercise. This is a picture of my current coaching cohort. These are the people that I'm with who are now all over 40, at least, some over 60. And this is what is still going on in each of us. We're still the same shining spirit from way back then. And we just got to remember to go home, go back to where we started before all of this conscious worry and all these rules came in. You know, get a picture of yourself from when you were younger and just look at that sweet face. You know, ideally get a nice picture of yourself, not one crying or screaming. And remember, that's still you. Being wise means being healthy. And a big part of this, as we all know, is empathy, which is the ability to kind of connect with another person's experience in some way, to reflect on how what that person is going through is something you've gone through. But the next step is compassion, because that is where action is involved. So doing something to help somebody else is a very good way to get out of stress and build your resilience. And this one can be really tough. We all have people who we cannot forgive, we feel. They just did that thing that pushes them over the line. And as you probably have heard, the only one that gets hurt in this lack of forgiveness is ourselves, because it's all happening in us. So why hold on to it? Forgiveness is a key to letting go and opening up to new possibilities. And in this approach, expanding your view, like encourage belonging, like joining with other people in associations, clubs, your groups of friends, getting closer to people at work, socially, so you know each other a little bit more and help that network of stability is so important for building your long-term resilience. And you notice this photo is very tactile just by looking at it. Don't you feel it in your hand, the sensation of your fingers on the bark? It's important to know all of our senses are at work. And in any stage of our life, looking for new possibilities. That's something we can all do. We have control of that, to find new possibilities. So intention drives action. So focus on what you want most, to get out of being stuck, to get over a hurdle that you feel is just so looming large in your way. Describe your aim. So I might myself think of where I want to be 5 years from now. And I might write out exactly how I want my life to be 5 years from now, and create and track some goals that are very specific for me to get there. An aim is a direction that you're headed. So it helps all of us to have a plan, as imaginary and yet somewhat realistic as it can be, something you want, where you want to be, how you want to be. And a SMART goal, many of us know about this, is measurable. Small daily routines and decisions are the things that cause change. So here's a typical aim, and I have this in the handout for you, which I'll put in there soon. It's 2026. I'm enjoying my consulting work enormously. I have a few trusted clients who appreciate my contributions. I read to keep current and use social media to connect to clients. I've published my first book and do speaking engagements monthly. I organize family events. My partner and I are thriving. So it's just an imagination, a narrative that you write about how you would like your life to be. It's not saying exactly what you're doing. It says, in general, I'm doing this kind of thing. So it helps to have an aim and to write it down. And if you're with a significant other, exchange your aim. Get to know the person on a deeper level. So SMART goals follow this method, specific, measurable, achievable, realistic time. So this is not the aim, it's how to get to that situation you're moving towards. So here's an example. By December 20th, I will have had my third discussion with my manager about my promotion in February. So you get that? My promotion in February, it's happening. I will present the quantified business impact so far of my two major projects. If our vendor delays delivery, I'll present an alternative schedule designed to recover and accelerate. So that's being strategic. I'll also describe the positive influence of our progress on all teams. So that's how to write, the beginning, and it can get, even crisper, of a SMART goal. So the outcomes that I had for you all tonight is to recognize the power of mindful self-care, of recognizing when you're stressed and how to get out of it, and know a few ways and practice them of being more resilient. Connect your current situation to your career progress or your life progress. And here are some of the books, and I'm going to just take a moment to go to the chat and add some things to the chat. So you have them. And anybody has a question, feel free to open up your mic and speak. Okay, there. Oh, damn. Okay, sorry, Lynn. I think I sent it only to Lynn, so I have to go back up, change it to everyone, and do it again. Okay, here it comes. Let me know if you don't see it. Now there should be one in there for everyone, and the second one is coming.
See it, thank you.
Yeah, I see it now. I just wanted to mention that when we were discussing about the stress, then Sabina mentioned that, typically for stress, holding one's breath usually. That's what. And for these handouts are here, and also we have a blog which will be published on Women in Big Data. So from there also you can go ahead and access the materials as well as the recordings set into the future. And Tina has a question. Tina Whitfield, what is the difference between stress and anxiety?
Oh,
as
that's
an
a good
athlete,
one. That's a good one. So
she also says one more thing. As an athlete, I ignore stress to focus and win, but with anxiety, I stop, full stop.
Right. Anxiety is focusing on something we don't want. Easier said than done, but think about it. Anxiety is fear of the future, right? Stress is like if you're lifting something heavy, that's stressful and it's stretching your muscles. If you feel a pressure to get everything right in your report, you want it to be an impactful report, that's stressful, but it's not necessarily causing anxiety. Anxiety is fearfulness about what's unknown. In fact, you're projecting into the future some problem from the past. It's very hard to be stressed when you're living in the moment. Think about that. Because if you're in the moment, you are actually not in your head as much as you're in your body-mind connection. So you might be very aware of your presence, like right now, the room you're sitting in, the chair you're sitting on, the screen you're looking at. You're not in your mind 3 days from now thinking about what's going to happen. That's being not here now, but out there then. So anxiety is too much focus on a potential catastrophe out in the future. Something is going to go wrong. And that is potentially a judgment that you are putting on yourself that you can't make it happen, rather than being in the moment and working on exactly what you need to do to make that happen, the good thing you want to happen. Does that help, Tina? She can just do a yay or nay in the chat.
Yes.
Okay, good. She said yes. So easier said than done, but it's that simple. And most of the time when we are really stressed and worried, we're thinking in the past of some problem, or we're projecting out into the future some problem. But when you're in the moment, you're actually working on things, and you're like Catherine, you are all of a sudden getting creative ideas because you're right there in that situation, and something pops up. But yes, easier said than done. It's something we all work on. And deeper, slower breathing is so important. Your exhale. If a person, I read this today, if a person loses 10 pounds, 8.5 pounds, the weight comes from your lungs of carbon dioxide, and 1.5 pounds comes from sweat and urination, liquids. But carbon dioxide comes out with vapor, and That's the release. And we need carbon dioxide to really oxygenate our blood. So breathing slower and a little deeper is a good way to become a faster sprinter and a longer long distance runner and a faster swimmer. It's amazing. So it also is a great way to calm yourself down when you feel your shoulders getting tight or, you know, sweat appearing on your forehead, but you're not working out. You're being worried. Okay, so all these books are listed in the handout. And I love this recent picture I saw on Twitter. I think it was, yeah. These three, I don't know. I think Hui Shi would appreciate this picture. Another dog makes the scene. I do think that dog has adopted the looks of the owners, or the owners have adopted the expression of the dog. They're completely in sync. So any final questions?
Catherine has a suggestion about a book. How about Thinking Fast and Slow?
Oh,
by
yeah, a good one.
Anna.
Yes, excellent book. Yep, Thinking Fast and Slow. Yeah, great one. Really, there are so many good books and podcasts out there now. And just remember, we take it one step at a time, what appeals to us, and feel good about the progress you make rather than criticizing your every step. You know, let go of those critical judgments and look more for discernment. Knowing the difference between an apple and an orange is not judging that an apple is better than an orange. Maybe in your mind, you like the taste of an apple more than an orange, but they're just different. One isn't inherently bad. Just like that person who bugs you in the meeting isn't inherently evil. They're just being themselves, and they may not even realize that they're yelling and speaking over people and being obnoxious because they're so used to doing it. No one has ever said, hey, Tom, calm down. It's the truth. Sometimes they never get that good, reasonable feedback, you know, advice, education, rather than criticism. Okay, well, great pleasure having everyone on the call tonight. I hope this was beneficial. And yeah, if there are no final questions, I think we've reached that point of the evening where we go on to our next activity.
Thank you, everyone. Please do
Yeah.
network, everyone.
Thanks, Bob.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good evening.